And if you haven't done it yet, please take a second to go ahead and load your episode. I've been told that there is a recap tonight. So if you are watching on Hulu or another streaming app, that might happen. If you are watching from the DVDs, you're just going to have to wait a little bit until someone tells us that it's ready to go. So please have your episode ready and pause right at the beginning. And when someone gives us the go ahead, we just press play, and then we'll be as close as we can synced up so that we can all be watching the same thing together. Any questions, comments, or complaints?
No, but
sharing your question. All right. So then on the count of, please start your episode. 1, 2, 3.
This is a very previously on.
Yes. You're all good, Mary.
That was a quick one.
Yeah.
We're still selling alien life in the future.
No, this is kind of like the
Coney Island.
This is like the Western charlatan trope, like these these people that would come into old Western towns and have all these curiosities.
These, like Coney Island.
Yeah, these like curiosities and stuff. There's actually a place in that's in California called The Thing. Does anybody know about The Thing? We'll talk about it afterwards.
I feel like I should, but no, I do not.
Like the movie?
No.
Is it like the Ripley's museums or something?
Kind of. It's just way more this. I'll talk about it afterwards. Well, this is kind of cute.
I was gonna say we got a date go.
And poor little baby infant morph cow.
Oh my goodness, this is adorbs. Come on now.
Until he steps in it.
Jeez.
Yeah, the only girl.
Just
runs to his mouth.
He is so good at sticking his foot in his mouth.
Why don't you tell the cow how beautiful its eyes are?
That's a funny line.
The Mona who?
This does not appear to be on a planet. This appears to be your typical space station marketplace.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Jane has mail.
This is interesting.
Yes. I'm wearing it right now.
I love his hat.
I was gonna say I have a hat on my bookshelf right now.
I love that he has a loving.
Well, I mean, this has really humanized him dramatically.
I want to meet his mother.
I didn't put the avatar picture until you saw the hat because they.
Are we supposed to know that person?
Are we? Yeah. Is that?
No,
No, not yet.
no.
At first it looked kind of like Mal, and I was like,
Yeah, I kind of thought the same. Like,
like, is that a dead clone of Mal?
No. Bill explain who he is in a moment.
I thought Anar's outfit was really cool.
Should I do popcorn?
that-
Yes.
Man, this was it. Really, the last of a dying breed of opening credits.
Flashback.
That's cool. Is that supposed to be a statue of?
Is that the guy we saw in the box?
Yes.
That is the guy.
Yeah, this is 7
talking
years
about.
earlier.
Didn't anybody ever tell that guy that eating and talking at the same time is rude?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. John.
Unless he's munching on chips.
I love how Zoe's saying it, be quiet. He knows how to make an entrance.
These white things on the string are just ridiculous. Are they supposed to be like candy, or are they supposed to be like a savory?
They're
It's
called ice. So I think they're supposed to be like ice cream.
Oh,
the recipe I have for it is more like a Rice Krispie treat type.
man, cold. Hey, River truly is waking up.
Thou hath no fear.
Wow. It's kind of awesome that like everyone just sort of, they all just sort of know, like, yeah, like we got to do this. Like even though they have no relationship to this guy, they just sort of get it.
And
I
it's
think
a dead body.
like-
So what are they gonna do?
I was gonna say, I think the relationship that matters is to Mal and Zoe. They know
Yeah.
what Mal.
Yeah, they know what Mal and Zoe sort of need to do, and it's important to them. Are these Reavers? No, these don't look like Reavers.
Hold on, patience. $500 later, it's the same threat.
The same what?
Threats. The police threaten about how ugly is the guy who's gonna make you his bitchin'.
Yep.
Yeah. The same TV cops.
Yes, I am. Understand?
Gotta imagine that setting somebody on fire inside of a space station would not be a good idea, even for yourself.
I mean, as long, oh, I don't know.
If you look to the
Wait a
right
second.
of the screen, you
Smoke
see,
inhalation.
do you
No.
see the carbonite Han Solo? Watch Kaylee again. The way they're gonna show her, it's on her, when they show her, it's off up to the right.
I didn't see it.
There'll be another option, another spot to see. It's like 6 inches.
Whoa. I mean, that police guy is just funny. Was the shield out at this point yet?
Yeah, he showed it to the guy and Amnon in the.
No. I mean the FX television show, The Shield. Was that
I don't know.
out yet?
Yes, it was from 2002 to 2008.
It's inside the body.
Is it possible that the body's smuggling something in another place?
And which place, John?
Somewhere down under? A place down under?
Oh my god!
Oh, no, 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 no. What the? Oh my God.
I'm a few seconds behind you guys, so your reactions are really hilarious when I have like a super
I was
calm-
a second behind them too.
No. I actually went at the cutting and then that after that. So I think that we're at the same spot.
Jean's reaction is my favorite.
Where he's fry for a dead guy.
Yep.
But the tattoo though.
This actor's familiar. I just don't know from.
Who said that he's familiar from some?
I said he just looks familiar, but I just don't know from where, from what.
I wonder if that's the actor's real tattoo, or if they put a tattoo on his back in a way that like kind of shows you that this is the type of character who would get a tattoo like that.
Probably his real one. That Nathan's real one was shown in the last episode.
Jane.
Tracy is Jonathan M. Woodward.
He's a robot.
Name of all that sea.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Notice what then his heartbeat started raising when he looked at Kate.
Interesting.
If he was alive, why did he send that message?
You'll see.
This is a really cool episode.
Yes, it is.
Hard to believe this show would ever be canceled, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't get a chance to see this episode. If they had seen this episode, I think that they would have changed their mind. This police character is just a little too much of a mustache twirler for me.
Now I'm just picturing him tying people to train tracks and twirling his mustache.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's true.
Total dick dastardly.
It's just too dastardly for me. The show is just too nuanced and too creative for that.
When the gravity drive.
This little dynamic is really interesting.
Ass kicking kill.
I just love how these actors deliver all the Chinese dialogue just so naturally. It's fun. Well, well, well.
I love that wash line. I didn't think of that.
I gotta say that law enforcement ship is very cool looking.
I'm surprised Kaylee's not in the engine.
Mal sent her with him.
You're right.
This guy might be something interesting. He might be holding a secret. This guy here. He's been sort of set up to be kind of a doofus, so it would be a nice surprise twist to find out that he's not. Will Simon save the day here?
I just carried the bullet a while. It's an interesting one.
I yeah, I'll have some questions about that. Oh, oh, these are not actually cop.
Yeah.
Oh, is Book an ex-cop? The spit, the little spit.
I'm surprised Jane didn't say something.
I'm surprised Jane didn't just shoot him. The nod she gave him. Like, yeah, yeah.
At this point, they all knew that that sadness is so real for them. Lee, muted.
This episode was sad.
What's the saying again?
If you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you find somebody to carry you.
No,
No,
if you
they
can't
don't
run, you
crawl.
walk.
You
If
crawl.
you can't walk, you crawl. And if you can't
No,
do
no,
that,
Then you
No.
find someone to
Run, you crawl. And if you can't crawl, if you can't do that, you find someone to carry.
right.
In the beginning, when they were all around the body in a circle, if you look, there is a blooper reel, and Nathan actually had his camera on set when they were filming it, and he actually jumped into spots all around every single person, and it's freaking hysterical.
So that's the message. Sorry, I couldn't talk because it's quite emotional and I can't. in it. but yes.
I just think that there's something really poignant about that, right? Because if you can't run, you crawl. If you can't crawl, you find somebody to carry you. And in a way, you can kind of actually use that analogy for the show itself, because the show itself lost its ability to run and crawl, and it found a fandom to carry it.
John.
Sure.
You took me
I
all
love that.
poetic.
I never thought of it that.
What? I mean, that I
No,
think
I love
that's
it. I love it.
that's
I
true.
never would have thought of it that way. It's just, I love the way you're thinking.
Getting
yeah, I mean,
deep.
it's true. Didn't it get a movie because of the fandom? You
Yep.
guys carried it.
It's-
You carried it through to the film. You got it there.
Would you have carried it through to the film if you had been a fan at that time?
I bet I would. I'm pretty sure that if I had watched this while it was on the air, that I would have become like a hardcore brown coat. I think that seeing it many years later with so many changes to the way stories are told, and improvements in VFX and all of that, and so many other shows that have come since that I've found to be like my favorites. I don't know if I don't know if I can really say that these 14 episodes would have me being a true diehard brown coat the way that many are. I think it's a great show, and I really love it and love these characters. But I feel pretty confident if I had been watching it when it came out, that it sort of just hits all of the things that I love about a show, and I probably would have been a real diehard fan, and then I probably would have been a part of the folks who were fighting for it to stay alive and to get another sequel.
Yeah. I think it was Hunter posted something about Disney Plus saying they're going to reboot. And I know some people are saying they won't watch it. I totally watch it. I like what they did with the Mandalorian.
I know that they're going to reboot it. They're 100% going to reboot it. Like, I've been reading about it, and there's no question in my mind, 100%, everyone should be expecting that within the next 2 to 3 years, we will have a Firefly television show. 100% definitely. I don't even have to. I wouldn't be even slightly afraid of putting kernels down on that. It probably will not. It will probably not be any. Yeah, it will probably be not have any of the characters in it from the original, and it will almost definitely not involve Joss. And you just have to be
definitely not Joss.
Yeah, so then you just will have to be prepared for a Firefly series that takes place in the same world. And I don't know if it's going to be a reboot in the sense that it will actually have like new actors playing all of these same characters, or if it will be a reboot as in we're back into the world of Firefly and we now are exploring new parts of it, perhaps characters that were in some way associated with, I don't really know, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Like no doubt about it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it too. And and with Joss leaving the Nevers in the middle because of his own created scandals that he did, I have no problem watching a show that was maybe originally came out of his brain that somebody else might take over. Because I think it's an enjoyable universe, and I would love to see what else they can do with it if they stay kind of in the same vein of the show, even if it's not quite as,
I mean,
edgy
just
as
think
Mel
about it.
might be.
It's gonna benefit from 20 years of television like innovations to storytelling on television. It's going to benefit from that better tools for shooting this type of stuff. It's going to benefit from like better visual effects at a cheaper cost. It's going to benefit from stronger just stronger, or I don't know, say stronger, but just more modern narrative techniques. And I just think that it could end up being absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Jon Favreau has more time, doesn't he? I mean, he's just doing everything else. Just throw him into that one too.
Just throw it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are, I'm sure, a lot of directors who would be really into doing that, to taking it over.
Oh, I know. I really like what Jon Favreau's done like over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he surprised me quite a bit with, the Swingers guy comes out.
Did you? Yeah, exactly. Did you think when you saw Jon Favreau in Swingers that he was going to become like such a prolific director?
Never.
I mean, and then he does Elf. Let me just throw in something whimsical in the middle of all
Yeah,
this
I see him, and the first thing that I think of is PCU.
I was just thinking that.
Well, oh yeah, he is in PCU, but I always think of that as Jeremy Piven. But yeah, that's right, he is in that. I forgot.
PCU. What is PCU?
In that.
PCU
is a movie.
It was a movie. Jeremy.
It's a movie from the 90s, and it was just like this kind of like it's just kind of silly.
David
it's kind of campy.
It's a kid goes to stay at a college for a weekend to see whether or not it's something that he might want to do, and he winds up getting he stays and hangs out with this really, really losery kind of ragtag. They're always in trouble kind of group. And
fun movie, great soundtrack,
really funny.
But it's not Firefly, so we should probably get back on track. But Jon Favreau's in it. That's why we should mention it. But yeah,
and like Jeremy
Piven and George Clinton. He's in it. Did you like this episode, John?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely awesome. Very emotional episode. And I really liked that. I really liked that actor, the one who played the Tracy was his name?
Yes.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved his performance, the sort of just.
Yeah, his name is Jonathan M. Woodward.
Just a sad, like, just.
But it's another one of those episodes that shows that like Mal always has his mind turning, and he always has a plan that he's thinking of. And what I really liked was that Book and he were able to be on the exact same wavelength without having to speak it out loud. Like everyone else was taking care of them, and they understood exactly what was going to happen.
Do you think Book is more military? I know you said maybe he's a cop, but like Mal was in his version of the military. I kind of think like maybe Book was also some sort of military situation.
Can somebody clarify? Was I correct, or were they just crooked cops, or were they
that were working a job that they technically were out of their purview?
Got it.
Yeah, they were probably very.
Sorry, they were doing it.
Directors up.
I lost that last bit. Sorry.
I think my internet's going out. If I'm accidentally talking over people, I'm sorry.
I was saying they weren't necessarily crooked. They were doing jobs on the side. So they're like bounty hunters on the side.
Oh, that's
Or
crooked.
way,
That's a crooked cop.
well, I mean, like they
That's a total
they were
crooked
cops,
cop.
but they were outside of their purview. So that's why they didn't want anyone else to know they were there. Yet you asked, like, how come Jane didn't kill them? I'm like, but it still would be a dead cop. It's not like they're not cops. It's just
Okay, but I
on the
didn't get
flat.
that because I kind of assumed that maybe what we were seeing was that like they were actually faking it. But I'm starting to think that maybe Book is that he actually was law enforcement.
Oh, I
Or
definitely think that.
intelligence of some kind.
Yeah.
He seems like he could have been Secret Service kind of.
Yeah,
CIA.
something like kind of high level in the government, but like on the like law enforcement or something like that. I don't think military. I think now I'm starting to think like really government, like CIA or FBI or something like that. And that's why when they looked at his credentials, because if they look at his credentials and they're like, oh, military guy, you'd have to be like high up in the military, like for them to be kind of impressed by whatever was in his pocket, right? Like it would have to be like, oh my gosh, general Book, but that doesn't make sense because if you were a past general, it seems a little it seems like that. I don't know. There's something about that that doesn't quite sit. Like you're a general and then you went and you joined the ministry. But them taking that out of his pocket, looking at it and seeing something like high level CIA spy or high level law enforcement FBI type guy, that strikes me as like making more sense, and that he would leave and go into the the order.
It seems like
just think,
celebrity in that rank, like he would be known if he was a high-ranking admiral.
That's what I mean.
Or something.
Yeah, that's sort of what I meant. I guess that's what I was sort of getting at. Whereas like if he was like a spy, he could easily leave and like nobody would really know unless they looked at his credentials and saw that he once was. They would be like, oh, whoa. Also, who knows? Could actually currently be a spy, and his cover is he is a priest.
Do you think
like he's undercover trying to get River and her brother? Like he's like a secondary undercover cop, like the first guy in the
I really don't know.
That'd be
really don't know. So let me tell you about the thing. So in I believe it's in California. It might be in Arizona, but I think it's in California. But it's off of the 10. You take the 10 out east, going east, towards Arizona. You'll start at a certain point. You'll start seeing these signs that say, like, 50 miles to the thing. And as you're getting closer and closer, the billboards, like, I mean, you're going through the desert, like, on your right and left is just nothing but just arid, just wasteland, just nothing but the sand and tumbleweed, right? And then like maybe some mountains and on the horizon. And you just see these billboards that are like 50 miles to the thing, and it's like all black with this big yellow thing, and you're getting closer and closer, and they're becoming more frequent. 20 miles to the thing, you're almost at the thing. What is the thing? Big question mark, and you're getting closer and closer and closer, and finally you get to an exit off of the highway that is like pointing you this way to the thing, and I mean, you've been seeing these billboards like for like an hour almost, and so you're just super intrigued. Pull off, It's like a little rest stop with some little like gift shop type things in the parking lot, signs pointing towards it. And you go in and there's like a full like gift shop of all kinds of desert trinkets and whatnot. And you know, a sign saying, you know, pointing to a door at the back that's like the thing this way. And you go buy a ticket to go see the thing. What's the thing? You know, you ask the person at the cash register and they're like, oh, you got to see it. I mean, I can't explain it. You got to see it, you know? So you get it, you go through the doors and you start walking through very similar to what they were walking through, like this museum of oddities that are from the Wild West. And like all of them or most of them seem like totally fake. They were like made up, you know, like, I don't know, the skeleton of some, you know, half like coyote bird or something like that, you know, like, you know, you're just like, this is ridiculous, you know. You just keep on going through and there's like just all kinds of little stuff and you just keep getting pulled through this museum of like makeshift museum of desert oddities that are clearly fake until you finally get to a sarcophagus at the very end, a sarcophagus with like a sign pointing to it that says the thing. You just look down at it and it's just a mummy. And you're like, and you realize that you have just been pulled for an hour.
It's a con.
I'm being so angry.
You've just been pulled on an hour from the road off of there. You went in, you bought a ticket, you walked through this really badly designed, terrible, just like ridiculous museum of fake oddities, you know, only to get to this sarcophagus on the ground with like a piece of glass over it with what looks like a mummy that is also clearly fake.
Okay.
And you walk out with just with like a look on your face of like, I cannot believe that I was just totally fooled, you know. And as you walk out, the like attendants of the store kind of chuckling, you know, as you
Where is this again? I'm writing this down.
it's on the 10. It's on the 10 freeway going east on from Los Angeles, going towards like Arizona. And I want to say it's in California, but it could be in Arizona. It could be past, like once you get past the border. I don't know for sure, but it, you know, the whole experience, you know, if you think about it, is designed to, in a way, recreate that very like common thing that happened in the Wild West, which were these con men, these like showmen that like came into town telling you about these like incredible, like, you know, elixirs and, you know, and crazy oddities and freak shows and all of that kind of stuff, you know, which were almost always like fabricated and whatnot. And that's the trope that we were seeing, you know, in the episode tonight, you know. And if you go, like, if you give yourself into the thing, you actually do, in a weird way, get to truly experience what it would have been like in the Wild West to be completely and totally conned by somebody in the West.
I'm so doing that with my family whenever we do a cross country trip. I'm totally making them.
Yeah, it was God, I hope it's still there. I have to imagine that it is. I mean, I'm sure that it is. But anyway, that's the thing. And it reminded me a little bit of it, you know, especially when they were in there like looking at that, you know, alien thing, you know, which was clearly fake, you know. I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly like the thing. I was exactly like going through that museum where you're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I paid for this.
You are definitely a storyteller, John. Like, for sure.
I'm just sitting here giggling, being like, I can't believe I listened to this story.
But it's, I mean, it's true. It really happened. It was very funny, you know. It was back, like, you know, in the early aughts. I was dating a girl whose family lived in New Mexico. So we would often go to New Mexico, and we would take that road, and we just always saw it, you know, the thing, you know, the thing.
And I love that it's called The Thing. Like, they're not pretending to try and like tell you what it
Oh
is.
no, that's the whole idea. It's like to create as much, like, you know, like curiosity. And the billboards are just like, they're just simple. It's like black with like a big yellow thing, or like a big question mark. What is the thing? You know, like just constantly, like, you know, getting more frequent the closer you get to it. 5 miles to the thing, 1 mile to the thing. You're almost there. You're almost at the thing. Can you feel it? You know, it's just like over and over again.
I just looked it up and it's still there. I
just wanted to say that your storytelling of that felt exactly how you're supposed to feel driving toward the thing, because I think we were all like, what is it gonna be? I was like praying like nothing would happen, that I'd have to like dip out because I wanted to know what it was.
I feel bad that I've told you, because you know, I guess if you really are planning to do a road trip at some point and experience a thing, it probably would have been more enjoyable to really truly be just pulled the entire way through.
No, I'm excited, and I have to behold this with my own eye.
I would have thought it was a con from the beginning, John. So when you were telling the story, I'm like, he's going to tell us it's not a real thing. And when you said sarcophagus, I was like, it's probably just some mummy or fake alien mummy or something in my head.
I hope it's like so badly plastic.
Yeah, I still probably would have gone through it thinking, I got to see what the con really is about.
Exactly.
Oh, I just got a message from Kendra on Discord saying, of course, Kendra's in Oklahoma, so she's out here in the West, so like that, I'd imagine that the thing is maybe about 10 hours from where Kendra is, maybe a little bit less, but she's seen the thing. Oh, that's such a Kendra thing to see. I mean,
of course,
like,
Kendra has seen this.
It is premium Kendra to have gone to the thing.
It's okay.
We survived, so I'll be okay.
I was gonna say we got the experience because we were all feeling on the edge of our seats with you telling the story. So I think we got the experience.
For Hunter or Diana or any of us, we could just drag our friends through it knowing how it's going to end, and they don't, and have a good laugh.
My daughter is very like analytical and logical, so I know she's gonna be like, this is gonna be stupid, and she's gonna be so angry at the end, and I'm gonna record it because it's gonna.
Perfect. You can't tell her at all. You can't tell her what it is.
No.
You just got to be like, whoa, should we go see that? Oh, this is looking interesting. We should go check it out. You know? Also, not to get too off of Firefly, but that same road, that same highway, the 10, on that stretch, also has, I want to say it's in the Arizona section of the stretch, these incredible rock formations in which you have these massive, like house-sized boulders, like 3 or 4 of them all stacked on top of each other, almost like in a way that almost made me nervous that they're going to fall over. You know, just imagine like really round boulders, massive, like the size of a small house, stacked on top of one another, like 2 or 3 or 4 of them, like stacked one on top of the other. Just it looks like just teetering there, but they've been there in that position for like, I'd say hundreds of thousands of years, because they're in that position because that whole area used to be underwater.
Where is this? You can't tell me about these things. I need a map.
The Southwest, the American Southwest was once underwater.
Yeah, if you drive from Los Angeles straight east, like towards Arizona, you get, you know, I remember driving with my mom and she was going like 105 miles an hour because there's nothing out there, and your vision even is like off because you don't know how fast you're going because there's just nothing except those like weird mountains in the background. But it's like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's one of the most interesting drives I've ever been on.
Yeah, the American Southwest is one of the most incredible things on Earth to behold. Anyway, but back.
So speaking of interesting things to behold, what did you think of the station that we got to see today?
The like marketplace station?
Yeah.
Really cool. It you know, again, it reminded me, I've said this a few times, of Mass Effect, of this video game Mass Effect that I absolutely love. It's my favorite video game of all time. And it has those type of space station marketplace bazaars that are like, you know, really like kind of grimy and like flashing lights and lots of, you know, lots of vendors and whatnot. And I just really love that sci-fi trope. It's really, I just find it really a cool world. If there was like a, you know, now we're starting to see these experiential pop-ups that, or these experiential, I guess you'd call them experiential products, like the Galactic Star Cruiser, right? Like that hotel that you can stay at that is actually designed to make you feel like you're on a Star Wars Galactic Imperial Star Cruiser. I hope we get more of them, and I would love to go to one that is an experiential, like designed to like really feel like you are inside of a marketplace, like bazaar type space station.
Battery low.
So you're not talking about like the Area 15 places, the Meow type places. You're talking about like a hotel or like a shopping type experience, right? These experiential, because when you were describing that, I was like, I kind of went to one of those not too long ago, but it's not exactly what you were describing. But it was a interactive art sort of thing at the Mega Marts.
Well, you know that
that I went to in Vegas.
There's a thing that is, I think it's at Disney World.
Do you want me to help?
It's called the Galactic. What's up? Yeah.
No. So I actually was just was listening to a podcast about it actually today. It's Galactic Star Cruiser is a fully immersive hotel experience at Hollywood Studios, right outside Hollywood Studios in Disney World, and basically you commit to like 2 days inside the Galactic Star Cruiser, and you're on a ship, and you basically go in, you get an orientation, you have a room, so like it's a family experience where you have like a hotel room, but it's really like, you know, it's your living quarters for the next 2 days while you are on a mission. And so basically it's so immersive that like there's costumes, there will probably be makeup, there will probably like there's food, even the food, like the journalist.
So it's a LARP?
What? It's
It's a
basically a
LARP?
LARP, but it's
It's
like
similar to a LARP, but it also has elements of
there's story involved. Yeah,
there's
and
story,
like
there's story, but there's also like just straight theme park consumerism. Like
exactly,
they've got like, you know, a food
Okay.
court where you can go and get your lunch. They've got like shops where you can actually purchase things and all that stuff.
You do all that, and you also like you speak to everyone. You get to choose like the dark side or not. You like there's all sorts of stuff that happens. It's so unbelievably immersive and interactive that, and it's, you know, they're putting gaming into it too, like on your phone. So like you'll also be able to participate through their Play app, which is the Disney World app that like there's gaming all throughout Disney World on an app on your phone. But yeah, like even down to the food, like the journalist asked like, what's in this? And like, it was like, oh, it's the crushed, like this fruit, you know, like a fruit that doesn't exist. It's just like completely immersive experience that you feel like you are on the ship and you are, you know, you're between the resistance and, you know, it's just like it's a whole thing. But yeah, it's a LARP, but like there's also shopping, there's also, you know, a huge consumer experience to it.
Yeah, I just put the link in the Clubhouse thing because I'm here in Florida and I've seen the advertisements for it. I just put the link up there for.
Sounds kind of.
It sounds insane, but like
yeah, and
awesome.
all the people who work there, who work it, are playing roles. They're all actors, so they're playing, you know, attendants and captain and whatnot. And it's designed to feel. It's designed to feel exactly like you booked a trip on a cruise. So when you walk in, that's what, you know, you're sort of committing. I mean, obviously, if there's an emergency, you would be allowed to leave. You might not be able to come back, but you know, while you are there, it's as if you are actually out on the ocean or something. Like you can't actually leave. And in the time that you're on this massive fake ship, there are all kinds of activities that you can do, including the types of things that you can do on a cruise. Like you could, like, you know, there's all kinds of like little things that you could participate in. And also there's sort of a larger, you know, sort of story that you can be a part of if you want. I don't expect that everybody has to.
It's a choose your own adventure at a certain point. So you go, you know, everyone gets the same experience, I think, to a point, and then you kind of choose where you're going to go next. And so the rest of the experience like is based on your choices, and that's pretty cool.
That does sound cool. Now they just need to do one with Firefly.
It actually like
Sort of
sounded a lot like Firefly in a way. Like it was like, oh, I could see people who aren't really into Star Wars but might be into other stuff like it would be super into it, you know.
Put a few Cylons on there, we can have a little Battlestar Galactica at the same time.
Ooh, yes. Sorry, was that too enthused? That was too enthused.
Not at all. Hunter, would you be a Cylon or would you be a human?
Oh, Cylon for sure.
Would you be number 6?
Possibly. I always like the villains, quote unquote. But
this
Battery low.
that's why it's not harvestable.
Isn't it 10:15?
Yeah, it's 9:26 my time. It's 26 after the hour.
The end of your event is not 10:30. You set it to be 10:45.
I didn't.
Which means that for 15 minutes early is 10:30.
I always thought it was 10:30.
In the app, it says that you ended it at 10:45.
Yeah, it does say 9:45 for me or 10:45 for you.
It's all right. It's just a few more minutes, but
2 minutes, just 2 more minutes.
see, I don't know if
So
I
where
would
would you-
be, I don't know if I would be as excited about a Battlestar Galactica immersive experience, because I feel like at least I can't imagine it to be anything but a sort of really intense experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas I really like the Galactic Star Cruiser thing really feels like, oh, I'm in the world, I'm in the Star Wars universe. You know, I can like sit back and relax and enjoy it as a tourist within this world. Or if I want to, I can get a little deeper and like be a part of some crazy little adventure that's happening here on board the ship. Whereas like Battlestar, I mean, the whole premise of that show is that they are like running as fast as they can away from Cylons at every corner, and so I would just be stressed the whole time.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
gotta watch the Portlandia episode about Battlestar Galactica. It's hilarious. Side note, over. But that's only if you'd actually watched Battlestar Galactica, because you wouldn't get the Portlandia episode if you hadn't really watched Battlestar Galactica.
I was gonna say, to me, Battlestar Galactica is a totally different experience than things like Star Wars or Firefly. So
Oh
Yeah,
it
for sure.
definitely is.
I love
it
Battlestar.
is, but that's part of the fun of it. Yeah, that was part of the fun of it. It wasn't the same as the other stuff, but yeah.
No,
But
Battlestar is stressful.
Battlestar always had an urgency. Like every episode,
Mhm.
you know, had like a ticking time bomb. Everything was moving really fast. You know, it's like it's a really cool world, a really cool story. But you know, as a place to sort of for fans to like visit and call home, there's not really a lot there in the universe to sort of to really call home.
Yeah, they got a whole ship. Hey, you know what though?
I guess that was ship.
They that was one of those shows that when that was out that I so desperately wanted to binge. I was just like,
I
I
binged
can't wait
it.
a week. I can't wait a week. Oh, then yeah, that's the best way to experience it if you can.
So speaking of binges, since we're going to be doing a little bit of binge of Firefly,
That's right.
anything else you guys want to discuss about the? I start asking questions.
Yeah. Or are you gonna ask like about the binge, or are you gonna ask about this episode?
No, I'm going to ask about the episode. I'm just wondering if there's anything anybody would like to talk about first. So I was going to ask, how do we feel about the Simon, Kaylee, and whatever his name was?
Tracy.
Tracy, come on. I'm not even a brown coat. I know his name is Tracy.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I thought that it was really fun. I was very happy. I was very, very pleased that they didn't at the last minute there pull a like, you know, Simon saves the day, you know, and Kaylee's like, thank you, Simon.
But you didn't want Simon to come out doing cartwheels and splits
No.
and stuff?
No, I, you know, I'm not giving Joss enough credit because I really did think that was going to happen.
What about if it was River who did the cartwheels?
Oh, that would have been awesome. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried though. That's gonna happen. Either in one of the episodes tomorrow or the movie. We're gonna get a cartwheel. Or a backflip or a roundhouse kick.
John, just so
Or
you
stuff.
know, you're making my husband laugh hysterically right now because he's seen it all.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. You know, this whole like, I actually would have really liked to see. I would have liked to have seen Simon. I would have liked it to play out a little longer so we could see Simon get jealous.
Yes.
Oh, I think he was jealous in there.
Oh, he was definitely jealous.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't see him jealous once Tracy came back to life, but even just listening to the recording when he walked to the engine room and heard her listening.
Battery low.
It's a.
Yeah,
But
I really liked it. I like that stuff. You know, I like that kind of that's interesting. That's interesting heartbreak that you don't often see.
I've learned something about you, John, over these watches, is that you really enjoy the drama and the romance drama. Nice. And I don't think that's bad. It's just interesting.
I'm definitely drawn to stories that, you know, that involve like, you know, heartache and yearning for love and all of that.
I'm the same way. I like
and I like it, especially like it when it's done in a way that I haven't seen that often. It's one of the reasons why I love. I'm sorry to keep getting off of Firefly. It's one of the reasons why I really love this show, Dash and Lily, that I'm going to be hosting for.
That show is cute.
Yeah, I just really like. It's a really creative approach to like, you know, yearning and heartache and infatuation and, you know, butterflies in the stomach, all that stuff. It's just a different. It's a slightly different, tweaked approach to it that feels very natural.
So
like I've seen that before in the real world, but you don't see it as often portrayed that way in television and film. Or maybe you do, and I just don't watch enough romantic comedies.
I was gonna say, I mean, I love that. I loved it after you recommended it, but like, yeah, no, it's cute, but you see it in other.
I love I really liked it, but I also am a romance reader, and I do like that kind of drama as well, and the heartache. That movie I watched the other day, it was like that. The one I put in the movie thing, it was just fun little sweet drama. So where would you rank this episode so far in your small rankings of Firefly that you got going? On the good side, at the top of the good side?
Yeah, I would definitely put this like pretty high up. I would imagine that it would be in like the top 4 maybe.
Nice.
I'd have to go through all of them to like really make sure, because there are some that like, you know, I remember definitely loving, but can't off the top of my head remember.
Power off.
You want to watch it again?
That's why I said it again. I want to watch it again. I've been watching them beforehand because the books that I have where I get the translations from, it's actually older scripts, so a lot of it is altered. Sometimes things jump back and forth, and if I try to watch it while, you know, without having it all done, there's plenty of times I'm like, wait a second, what is going on? I missed something. So there's times where I watch the show like 4 or 5 times before I watch it with you guys. So I'll always watch it.
Well, it's definitely a show that enjoy it. You can watch it multiple times, because I found that after the first time I viewed it, or even multiple times viewing it, sometimes I notice things I didn't notice before. And it's just because sometimes there's just a lot of stuff to look at. Just little details.
I noticed, I don't know if I don't think we've mentioned it before, but today when Wash was flying, Wash panicked a little bit and he got loud. And one of the things that they talk about is that Wash is the type of pilot who, when he's serious and concentrated, he's actually quiet. So if he gets loud, you gotta work, because that's like beyond what he can handle. And this episode is the first time that I noticed going, oh yeah, he got loud in this episode. He was worried.
were like being chased and they like went into this like snowy world. I really like that snowy world. And it definitely felt a bit like an homage to Star Wars because that chase scene and then like hiding out inside of like a little, kind of cave type area. I mean, that's very, very reminiscent of Empire Strikes Back.
Very like being inside a worm or something.
Yeah, I mean, if they had discovered that they were inside of a worm, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I kind of had that hot feel along with like the asteroid word. They actually did say something in the book about the snow. I'm looking for where it was, but it was when they were out, when they were inside. I think they said that they used something that was like potato flakes. Mashed potato flakes. Well, we know that you're obsessed with snow and fake snow on TV, so. Okay, here it is. It says there were several different areas that got snow shot at the Universal backlot for one portion of that sequence. It was small. First, you go in with the crew for falling snow. If you're at an exterior that is environmentally sensitive, you end up using potato flakes or a cornstarch product, usually something that is biodegradable. If you're on the stage, it's something to set. So it's kind of cool that they actually use regular food. How do we feel about what we learned about Jane? That his mom writes him letters and hits him chats and sends them to.
Not only that, we also learned that Jane, that like all of this, all of it, like we've kind of come to believe that Jane is this like real, like I'll always take the money over the friends, and ready to sell people out for little bag of gold, little bag of silver, whatever. And now we learned that he sends a portion of that money home.
He's a mom's boy. Yeah, and we know that he has a brother named Matty too.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really sweet. Like that when that happened, I was like, wow, we're learning. This is really interesting. We're learning something about Jane here, and it really humanizes him. It really tells us that he absolutely has loyalty. He may not have fully developed it for the crew of Serenity, or at least he may not have fully developed it for all of the members of this current crew of Serenity, but we know that he has the ability to develop it because he clearly has that for his own family, who sends money home to and is concerned about and really can't wait to read letters from, and immediately puts the hat on, even though he looks ridiculous in it,
It's quite cunning, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, so that just tells you immediately that he's absolutely somebody that can form really strong familial bonds with people that he calls his family. And so he just hasn't been around River and Simon long enough for him to develop that, but he can, and maybe he hasn't even really been with Mal long enough to fully develop that either, but he can and he will. And by the time we're at the part of the story, I feel fairly convinced that Jane wouldn't betray anybody on that ship, right?
Speaking of the movie, service I saw it on that you don't have to pay to rent it is Peacock with ads. It must have moved off a streaming service since we started.
Oh, no.
Just wanted to mention that. I just
Really?
wanted to mention that today. Yeah.
Oh.
Last night. And
It's not on.
it's not on Hulu anymore. I didn't see it on Hulu. You guys double check.
I'm looking on everything. I mean, I have it on the Voodoo account and I have multiple DVDs of it. But
Yeah, and I have it on DVD, but I was just thinking about it. It was on streaming service not long ago, but you know how things go. They drop things here and there, pick them up, drop them. So I thought I'd mention that. Well, since we mentioned the movie again, I thought of it all of a sudden.
It is not available for streaming. It is available on
Peacock.
which I would
Yeah,
imagine
that's
with
Five
nice
minutes.
commercials. So yeah, I mean, it means unfortunately that it's a rental. You can rent it on Amazon for $4. So if anybody rents Serenity to join us for our watch on, oh my gosh, I just saw River go back and a roundhouse kick into somebody's face.
Stop.
John? Oh, boiler.
If anybody,
Supporting you.
if anybody rents Serenity on Saturday night to watch Serenity with us, it is a slate show, and we will honor the 250 kernels that you get if you send me the receipt. I am going to be renting it, so I will be giving myself 250 kernels.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned it since I thought about it. It's more than 24 hours or 5 hours in advance of the actual viewing, just so that everybody that wants to plan on how they want to do it. And
Thanks
if
for
you,
letting me know.
if you guys are doing it with the front end, you'll end up probably about 10 to 15 minutes behind the ending, I believe. Because sometimes
Yeah.
Peacock's ads are almost 2 minutes long.
That would be a
So,
that would be a
yeah. It's a viable watch.
$4 though. I have lots of copies. I just need to get them to you.
Right?
You have lots of copies of Serenity.
Oh, yes. We actually have a tendency of when we find it on sale for cheap, we buy it and we give it to people to watch.
Really?
That's actually how class
because of that. Yeah.
streaming services. So we're so in love with it that we have so many copies. And when anyone says they haven't seen it, we're like, here, take a copy, watch it, and I guarantee you'll love it.
The movie or the whole
And
series?
both.
Oh, wow. Cool. Maybe I'll go to Amoeba and see if they have any really inexpensive.
Go to Walmart, sometimes
inexpensive.
you'll find it for $5 in the bin.
The only thing though is that most DVD now a lot of DVDs from the early aughts, if you find them on like a box set, most of them are not in HD. Most of them are in the square. I would imagine the Firefly is square.
I've seen the movie, I've seen these, the box, it's not the regular one, it's the metal one for $5, the Blu-ray
Well, yeah,
for
the,
$5.
the movie would be in like an HD, but the original series, what we just watched, I'm gonna guess that box sets for that are mostly in square.
Some of them,
You got a Blu-ray?
yeah, because they wind rounds of sing it many times. There's like the 10th anniversary one. There's a bunch of
Okay, I will take a look because if there's a Blu-ray copy of it, I would definitely pick it up.
yeah. I think the Blu-ray one has like really cool pictures and stuff in there and stuff. It's another option is some libraries also have it. So if y'all want to check your library to see if you can rent it from them, I know my local library has it. So some people might be able to get it that way as well. It's called Canopy that you can use to watch it from the library.
Oh yeah, actually.
Hooplas.
Actually, there are libraries. If you have a library and it is linked to the app Hoopla, which Hoopla is a big one. Canopy might also be one, but I know that there are library apps that have big collections of videos, and that might be on it. Is a streaming service that has a ton of stuff and it has relationships with like libraries all across the country, and you can see a lot of stuff on that. And I actually should be promoting that a little bit more on Remarkist, because I bet that there are a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can be watching on Hoopla for free without money.
Very much. So with that,
Not for series.
That's nice. Connected.
Serenity is not available on Hoopla.
Well, I would like to think that if you've been watching Firefly with us for this whole watch, that it is worth renting.
I'm gonna rent it. I'm definitely gonna rent it.
All right. Sorry,
I like Jane a little bit more. I like Jane a little bit more after this episode. I think that's one of the main reasons why I like this episode so much more.
I was wondering about that. I was going to ask you.
I have never really been a huge Jane fan throughout this run. Like, this is the episode that really there in Janetown, the Janetown episode. You know, the little section where he's like getting excited about being considered a hero, and everyone's coming up to him and telling him stories and stuff, and he's really excited in the bar. He's a little drunk. That was another point where I was like, I think I'm liking this guy. But for the most part, I haven't really had a great attachment to him. And this episode, that little section there at the beginning really, really made me love him.
I've been meaning to ask almost everyone, how do you guys feel about Zoe? Because we had a discussion once where many people felt like they didn't really know Zoe and not enough had been done for her. Has that changed?
It has not changed for me. And I've actually wanted to mention this for a few episodes. Like, I can't really in good faith say that I really love that character. Like, I do not think that the character is being used in the narrative enough. And I would love to be able to say that I do, but I just think that it would be more like wishful thinking, that I want a female character of color, a strong character, to be considered like a favorite character of mine. But I just really don't think that we've gotten enough of her narrative to feel a strong bond. Nowhere near what we get from characters like Mal, characters like Wash, even characters like Book. Every once in a while, I have to be honest, every once in a while, I forget that she's there.
Anyone else want to share before I I respond to that.
Yes, respond to it.
I was gonna say it's great. I think that I judge her based on her relationships to the others. So while you're saying there's not enough on her, focus on her reactions and her defense of Wash, her loyalty to Mal, even how she treats River and Kaylee, I feel speaks volumes about her. So I don't need the limelight to shine on her for me to be able to see the kind of character that she is and personality that she is.
I think for me, it's a question of agency. If that's true, we're judging her in relation to other characters, then where's her power and where's her personality? You know what I mean? I feel like it's an agency question more than that. It's her, everything she does is in reaction to other people. So I kind of want to know, what does she want?
I want her to helm an episode. I want her to helm an episode. I want to dig deep into her personality, and I just frankly have not gotten that chance at all. I don't even think she's really truly, for me, had a moment as aha, this is who this person is, as Jane had in this episode for me. So I can't in good faith say I think she's one of the most, as Maui once said, he thought that she was one of the most important Black female characters in science fiction, and I'm just not seeing it, at all. I can definitely see, I mentioned it while we were there. I don't know how many people know about it, but Martha Washington, in the Give Me Liberty series, 355 in Why the Last Man, but I just here, I just feel like she's just mostly written as a sidekick character to Mal, and not even that I also sort of feel like I don't even see her that often enough, that I would say I've developed a really strong relationship to her. It's disappointing because the actress is phenomenal. She's really, really great. And I know that the character could be awesome, but I would just be making it up if I really was honest with what I know about her. She's a fellow soldier in the same war that he fought in, and that they've been friends ever since. But I know infinitely more about how all of that stuff with the war and his involvement in it and the years since that. I know infinitely more about all of that as it relates to Mal. But as it relates to her, I don't really know.
I always thought she would get her own episode beyond what had happened.
Oh well, I mean, knowing that the series got cut halfway through tells me that it's very possible that Joss had planned to really kind of make her character sort of a bit unassuming through most of the first half of the series, and then really in the second half ramp up her storyline in a really significant way. That's definitely possible. But I mean, can we really say she has a storyline?
Yeah.
I mean, at least Jane, for me, at least Jane kind of has a storyline in the sense that he's battling with, his own allegiances and his lust for money over family, that kind of stuff is really conflict. And so I can at least even feel that character has a narrative through line. He's got an arc that he's moving through. And I don't get that from Zoe at all.
I think he's got an arc, yes, but without her, I don't think Mal would be the captain that he is. And she is like I said, the backbone, the rock for both him and Wash. And she's comfortable in that role. So she's not fighting for command. She's not fighting for anything. She's comfortable.
We're like digging the deepest right now at the end of our watch discussion. You realize that.
Well,
this is like
we
this is like
we kind
no,
of
this
went
is really great
around
conversation.
the watch today. We went on.
No, it's a really great. This is a really good conversation. Really interesting, and I think it gets into a lot of good questions about character and about Zoe and whatnot. You know, it just happened at the very end.
I messaged Hunter and I said, John doesn't get why Zoe is so awesome. I said he feels she wasn't given enough, and Hunter writes back, "Excuse me,
what is happening?
Yeah, well,
I
let's
heard
hear
there's
it.
Zoe
I mean,
slander going on. What is happening in my absence?
I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to be given a reason why, but my thing is that I don't think that the Zoe character was utilized enough in the narrative for me to really truly know who she is, other than me like kind of logically putting things together, right? Like you just mentioned all these aspects of who she is technically. She's the second in command. She's been, his friend since the war, right? I can use that information to logically figure things out, like she's the backbone, she's the rock, but I haven't seen it enough. I really have not seen enough of it. I don't know what her through line is. I don't know what her narrative arc is. And I sometimes forget about the character because of how little they sort of go into story about the character. And I can only really get invested in characters if I'm invested in their story. What is her story?
I can agree with that.
I know who she is. I know who she's married to. I know who she's friends with. But right now I don't I know exactly what Simon and Rivers' story is. I actually know very much what Jane's story is. Definitely Mal's story. I kind of get a sense that there is a deep sort of mysterious story with Book, but I don't really get a strong one from her or Wash, really. But Wash has got that like sort of comedy character thing, that the comic relief type thing that I think helps pull that character through. But with Zoe, I just struggle to know what it is that I'm rooting for, what it is that I'm following, what's the story there, and why again, it's like I want to love the Zoe character. I think the actress is amazing, and I think that that when she does have moments, that they're really interesting moments to watch, but from like a larger narrative arc of the series, I would be disingenuous if I said that I'm like really into the Zoe character.
I can understand that. And I absolutely agree with you that she was not given enough. I feel like we probably would have gotten a lot more of her in the second half of the season, which unfortunately, we didn't get because, again, this is your first Joss Whedon story, show, but his MO is the first season you get to know the characters and what's going on with them usually. So I do feel like we would have gotten more of her in the second season. So everything, I can understand why you're having a little bit of an issue because of that. But just from everything that we do know from her, we can deduce who she is. I mean, the first word that would come to mind would be loyal, because of being Mal's second in command and, being the wife and everything. And a couple episodes, this episode, the one before, her conversations, she's been talking to Kaylee and Nara more, so we're getting to see her as a friend. But yeah, I feel like we do have to deduce a lot, and that's why we have to like her right now. But I do feel like we would have gotten more of her in the second part of the season.
Yeah, I actually think that that's true. I believe that if this had had 20 episodes, that likely the second half of the season would have suddenly, like, her storyline would have gone into overdrive. We would have probably learned something very interesting about the character that we didn't know, probably some secret, and it would have driven our interest in her story, But I don't think Jazz is a story right now.
Yeah.
I just don't. And it's like all of that stuff is just, all of the things like, who she is from a technical standpoint and her personality. Personality is great, but that, it just does, from outside the context of a story, it only like holds me so far. And admittedly, a character like Wash, who also doesn't really have a story and is mostly just a personality, I can kind of get into that a little bit more, because that's a comic character. So he's designed to make us laugh, to cut tension when we're really scared and whatnot. It's like, just an important narrative role for characters like that. But I also don't really know enough about Wash, really, because he doesn't really have a story yet. I just know a personality.
I know, and I mean, I do understand, like, the backstory is important for you to connect with the character when they have those really, really sentimental moments, because just like with Lorelai, like you started connecting with her more when she started crying all over the place. But like,
not just backstory though, front story too.
Yeah,
I don't think
too.
that Zoe has a front story or a backstory. It's just,
right.
She's just a personality and a bunch of roles on the ship.
And you've connected more with Kaylee because she is the cute soft one, but she has a lot of vulnerable moments, and those are usually the ones that draw you in. And since we haven't had any of that from Zoe, she's just been the loyal second in command, good wife person. I can see why it would be harder for you to connect with her. Because that's what you did with the Drag Race too. Like once they start showing vulnerability, you're like, okay.
That's true also, but I will say that even Kaylee, I don't have a real deep connection to, because also Kaylee, I haven't really locked into any story with her yet. I definitely connect with her a bit more, but and learning a little bit about her backstory has helped a bit. But I am, even though we don't even see them that often, as some of the others, like characters like Simon and River, I actually connect to a bit more because I know what their story is. I know where we're going with the characters, or at least I know what, like, I don't know maybe where our destination is, but I know what our tracks are for those characters. And so that gives me some focus on them. That isn't just funny lines or, quirky or whatever, and I guess I might give Zoe I might like be even harder on Zoe, because there's probably a part of me that is disappointed that the character is just sort of this straight stoic sidekick, and we haven't gotten it much more than that.
Yep. I can see where you're coming from with that. Like I said, like the first season, second half is where we usually get Joss's like good writing, where it starts to get like interesting. So yeah, unfortunately we didn't get there, and I know we would have gotten there with it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna head back out again. I'm just saying.
Sorry,
don't be talking
I'm sorry.
about Zoe
I pulled you out of
when I'm not here.
I pulled you out of your yoga. Aren't you doing yoga right now?
No, I'm getting ready for bed.
Oh.
Have a long day.
No, I thought that at the end of the day you do like meditation or something. Or
Yeah,
yoga.
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, that's definitely coming up in like the next 20 minutes. But
All right.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Good night. I'm gonna actually head out as well. We can dive deeper into this discussion in the next episode, and who knows, maybe the next episode, like really like.
So we're getting
changes my perspective.
2 episodes tomorrow.
Oh, right, two episodes tomorrow. Maybe one of those 2 episodes will change my point of view.